How's it going? What's up, guys? Captain Foley back with you again for another first reaction. Let's just get into this. This is the most Canadian episode of Star Trek ever, and I love it. So the episode is called Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow because reasons. And I think it's really great. There's not much to complain about. Nothing really. I mean, I love seeing Toronto. I love the fact that they use Toronto. Toronto. I love how La'an calls it Toronto. People from Toronto don't, or people from Canada don't call it Toronto. They don't say the second T usually. It's Toronto. Toronto. And people from Toronto, Toronto itself, say Toronto. So, anyway. Wow, there's a lot of talking going on here. All right, let's see. It looked like no sauce or anything, just the wiener in the bun. Yeah, it was. His hot dog was disgusting. It had a whole wheat bun, which is fucking gross. And yeah, put some goddamn condiments on it, my man. But hey, what a great way to start out the live. Sergeant Montgomery, member for 30 months at the rank of lieutenant. Khan, the superhuman genocidal genius. Looney is Canadian. Awesome episode. Kirk was great. And the on-Kirk temporal love child would be epic. First of all, Khan is not Canadian. He is the project that made him is just currently housing him in Canada. So he's not Canadian. But sure. I don't think Shatner would want a Canadian hot dog over an American White Castle slider. Wow, Toronto was Toronto in a film or TV show. I know, right? That being said, I mean, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, that was in Toronto. So that bridge looks nice. It does. It doesn't exist, though, so it's fine. Cosmo, that was the same. That was some damn fine Trek, if I say so myself. Too bad Khan gets framed for murder, 4 or 5 security guys, and 1 John Doe, since La'an left the gun there. Well, yeah. Speaking of Canada, 2 more days till Canada Day. Yes, indeed. It's great that it was released so close to Canada Day. Gotta love that. Let me just move this up just a tad. And then I move closer to you. The future wouldn't be the same. Yeah, we'll talk about that. This is just proof. They proved my point all along. This is the disco verse. This is not the prime timeline. This is the disco verse, and that's fine. I'm fine with that. They proved it. They made my point for me. Kirk loves Canadian hot dogs because he's never had an American White Castle slider. Gotcha. Good episode, but I would have cut the entire scene with Khan and just never opened that door. I kind of agree with you on that one. The episode reminds me of season 3 of Enterprise episode where Archer and T'Pol have to stop Xindi, a reptilian bioweapon. Timmy's product placement. Yes, the cop was in fact drinking Tim Hortons. I love it. Did you notice any filming differences? What do you mean filming differences? I don't understand. Only popping in to let you know that I won't be staying due to mental instability right now, so I'm off. Sorry to hear that, Robert. Thank you for checking in, though. The rhyme is wrong. Khan is a common name. La'an would hear it often in any timeline with India and Pakistan. She didn't mean that. She meant you wouldn't have to have all the baggage that comes with being a Noonien Singh. You wouldn't have to worry about being called a freak or all the things that she's had to deal with in her life. That's what she was referring to. She wasn't saying the name Khan, you would never hear it again. She was just saying that you would never have to hear his name anymore in relation to your own life. Nice bird of prey, though. only one angle. Hope we get more. Yes. The Scottish Nightmare. So who complained about the noise with Spock? Don't know. Mellow, Mellow Canuck. They should have La'an get some hot chocolate and smile despite herself. I think La'an was fantastic in this episode. Absolutely, that character and the actress has won me over since season 1. So I don't know. Do we even have a moderator here? Is there a moderator? Oh, it looks like Fleet Pause here. Okay, good. I can't do this without your Fleet Pause. Let's see. Mr. T says, I hated this episode more than I can express. Why are they trying so hard to erase TOS? They're not. What the fuck? Hypno Amber, the biggest travesty of the week of this week's episode was that they are those hot dogs without any condiments. Like, how? I know. Ghost of Q's left eyebrow. Hey, Cap, this is now hands down my favorite episode of Strange New Worlds. It's definitely up there for me, sure, as well. So, Mark says, finally, a correct 23rd century bird of prey. Chuck A missed opportunity to have Punk on the bus and have Kirk give him a Vulcan neck pinch. Yeah, I agree. Post-human. Nobody is trying to erase TOS. Neil Hammersmith. So does this episode carry on the subplot of Brett Spiner's character from season 2 of Star Trek Picard? I mean, it might. Hypno Amber. Gotta say, Paul Wesley may have won me over. Yes, I gotta say that about him. I was not convinced of him being a good Kirk. He didn't have the gravitas of Kirk that we've seen yet. This one, though, he had very much William Shatner reactions and very, he's more expressive and he's much more like Kirk, in my opinion, in this episode. So, but the only 2 times we've seen him have been alternate reality Kirks. So we still haven't seen the real Kirk yet. But anyway. BJ says, how thin are the bulkheads on the Enterprise if Spock's playing can be heard outside his quarters? Donnie Pearson says, pretty decent episode for me, to be honest, yet I thought Adelaide Kane, whom I loved as Tanaya in Power Rangers, did a good job playing Sarah. Okay. Fleet Paw says, hot dogs go good with ketchup, Hypno Amber, all the condiment you need. No. I'm not even going to get into condiments on hot dogs. Wesley interviewed Wesley on the Ready Room today. Nice. Starch Wreck says, the show would be better if La'an was Malcolm Reed's ancestor, not Khan. Well, she's nobody's ancestor. She's a descendant. So. Sturm von Alk. I blame it all on Burnham's mum and her time travel hijinks. It also places Picard in the disco universe. As me and Sam were talking about earlier today, it's more like seasons 1 and 2 of Picard are in the disco universe. Season 3 seems to be all, nudged up against the Prime universe a little bit. So there's that. Anyway, and somebody's going to say it, because somebody already did say it earlier in the comments before, like an hour and a half before we went live. Khan shouldn't be that young. Well, if you fucking listen to the Romulan agent Sarah, she says that there's been temporal wars fought over this. They've tried to kill Khan. They've tried to delay things. And she's been there since 1992. She's been waiting 30 years. And so time has a way of setting itself correct and doing what it needs to do. And this Khan thing has to happen for humans to get into the wider sphere that is the galactic the galactic party. So Khan's birth, or Khan's genetic manipulation, was delayed. So it didn't happen. He didn't get into power in 1992 and get sent off on the Botany Bay into space in 1996, it was delayed. She makes a point of saying it. You got to listen to that conversation at the end, talking about the temporal wars that were fought over this and how it screwed things up, which very, very firmly plants this for me in the disco, that it's a disco verse, alternate reality, and not prime, which is what we said all along. So, Jace Bales. So, did La'an understand the joke that Romulan said about her ears, since she's never seen a Romulan before and doesn't know what they look? They look like Vulcans. No, but she doesn't have to. I love how Kirk's like, yeah, it's a good disguise, and getting used to the ears. Like, you're not going to be What did your ears look like? Can you please tell me while you have a gun pointed at me? Because that's the most important thing right now. What did your ears actually look like? They could have been square. They could have been triangular. They could have been like the dude from this the side of Eden, the paradise, whatever the TOS episode. What the hell is this shit? They could have been like all flowery ears or some shit. Like it's goddamn space. They could have been anything. I think the ear comment is the most nitpicky thing. Anyway, shout out to Walrus Pub and Beer Hall in the episode. His name is Khan. Yeah, actually, one of my good friends, Ross, who I go to Wonderfest with every year, who is from Toronto. His cigar shop was in this episode. So, and I gotta love the other color. There's a lot like I want to talk about in this episode. And I'm sure your comments will get me to those points. But when Kirk drives the car, I love that it's a callback or a call forward, or a call never happens because it's a different Kirk. But anyway, to a piece of the action where when he first gets in the car, he like backs into the other car and then he very jerkily moves forward. I love that. It's exactly how he drove in a piece of the action, which was nice. Well, they kind of implied that they're both the prime timeline. Now it's just TOS that changes, and by the end of the TNG, things are virtually indistinguishable. Sure. Geraldine. Love the La'an walking around at the beginning, to call people put for being bad. Call people out for being bad. Ryan K. It was both cool and weird to be a city here instead of the U.S. It was awesome. The Scottish Nightmare. A lot of con in wrestling currently. A lot of cons in wrestling currently. Okay. Peter Lukaku, $5. So the Toronto police are officially Star Trek canon now. Yes, indeed. Fleet Paw says, oops, Pumpkin Spice, I'm sorry, didn't mean to hide you. You're unhidden. My apologies. I saw that happen. I was going to correct it, and then I saw you did. Stern Von Alk, how the hell did Spock exist if his human mom didn't bump uglies with a Vulcan? That's a good question. Maybe she was on a ship that got damaged and was rescued by Vulcans, and she just decided to stay on the planet. Who knows? Jeff W., the time travel device, green, red, just like the Omni from the 82 Voyagers TV series. Oh, yes, that's what you're talking about. Yeah. I mean, similar. That one had a globe and stuff in it, but I love the simplicity of that device. It felt very TOS, like it would have been a prop on TOS, which is great. And to show the T-cars, which is like the future, the temporal version of the L-cars on there, was great as well. I looked at the TOS description of Khan. They said that there were no massacres or wars under his rule, so no idea where the genocide and torture thing came from. There were none under his rule because he needed to establish power, and in doing so, do that very thing. History is written by the victors. So, of course, he would have said, that would have been in many of his speeches, under my many years of rule, there have been no genocide or whatever. Of course, it's a matter of interpretation. The Federation time agents could use the memory wipe blue light from the Men in Black. Ryan K. liked this one a lot and was fun. Yes, I agree. Cosmo. If Kirk would have arrived, would he have saved Khan if he knew what his possible future would be? I know different timeline, but would could have been a better plot twist. I think Kirk would have saved him. He's just a fucking kid, man. It's like the whole thing. If you go back in time and kill Hitler as a kid, would you? I mean, most people would probably say yes, but Captain Corky. There was an awesome nod to Toronto. The city is constantly used in television and films, but portrayed as other cities. It was nice to see it finally portrayed as itself. Yeah, when he's like, New York, mid-20th century, I was like, oh, for fuck's sakes. And then she's like, no, it's Toronto. I mean, when he's saying that, you see the Toronto Eaton Center, Ryerson University. It's like, eh. Really? With the fucking snorting and the snoring? Wait. But yeah, I love that it was just like, no, it's just Toronto, man. Was it always this cold on Earth? It's like, actually, for Canada, this isn't bad, but it is going to get colder when it gets dark. That was kind of funny too. Well, On was amazing. This was the first episode that I really felt connected to her. It was good to have a full episode about her. I totally agree. Fleetpaw keeps your channel alive. Sure, if you say so. I didn't quite like her saying Khan is where he needs to be. I feel like Trek would shy away from saying adversity is needed for better future, to be honest. I'd have just left that vague. Fleetpaw puts in $2 and says, I can make flummox soup in a toilet. I knew you were going to super chat that. This one. A bridge across Lake Ontario to Rochester is a bad idea. I'm glad the Romulans blew it up. I thought the same thing. Shouldn't Pelia remember the events since the timeline has not changed? Meeting the lawn, I mean. Maybe she does, but she also seems very scatter-minded, so who knows? But maybe she does. She kind of has a nod of recognition when she came on the bridge at the end, but it could have just been like, oh, security's here about this painting. And then she's like, I think we'll just leave it. And she's like, ah. But I think it might have been a nod of recognition. That's a good point. So there are bad Romulans to keep Earth back and good Romulans. Picard Season 2. Ozzy said I had Canada hot dogs for lunch. I also love the poutine line. Poutine has gravy? That's awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in this one. And Paul Wesley, I think, did a fantastic job as Kirk. He actually had a lot of the mannerisms and reactions that I think Kirk would have had, like Shatner, young Shatner. So I think he did a really good job. So Trekyards says, was a good episode. Would have been funny if they got older Kirk Randolph Thatcher on a bus. Just Kirk Thatcher. You don't have to say his middle name. Or just Kirk. On a bus or something as a tourist in Canada, and Kirk neck pinched him, and he says, not again, missed opportunity. Yeah, that's true. LDG. Well, there you have it. They explained all discontinuities by all the temporal Cold Wars. That is timeless child bad. TOS is not erased. It's just been confirmed as an alternate timeline. Yep, that's my take on it as well. BJ says, I like that Toronto sky was yellow-orange. How realistic. Did the Romulans start the wildfires? This was filmed in 2020, so I hated the tinting that they did for that. The color correction on that scene was awful. I've occasionally seen skies like that. This was filmed right after season 1 was filmed. Scottish Nightmare. The most inaccurate thing about this episode is how they got the hotel room. You would need a credit card on file. Plus, why not get a twin room? I thought the same thing. I even said the same thing. We filmed our review, which will be out tomorrow afternoon, earlier today. And I said the same thing. But at the same time, I was like, how the hell did they get across the border? They make a point of saying they bribed a border guard. So I'm like, you could probably sweet talk somebody at the front desk and whip out a wad of cash. What makes me wonder, how many games of fucking chess did he have to play? And what were the stakes for them to get that much money? To be able to bribe a border guard, get that hotel room, and do all that shit without credit or identification. Terrence Childs, I've said it once and I'll say it again. If you have a choice between a Canadian hot dog and an American slider, I'm pretty sure you'll take the American slider every time. Canada hot dogs aren't really a thing, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Hypno Amber, absolutely agree about Wesley. LDG, all Trek series are slightly different timelines. BJ says, we saw real Kirk at the end, still a lieutenant. Yes, we did. Fleetpaw says, perhaps Sarek took a human slave, or maybe Stockholm Syndrome. There you go. I do love that Kirk was born on the USS Iowa. That was great. And he's like, I don't have to do anything. You're going to erase my timeline. I'm just going to enjoy the minibar. And then it's like, I know all about you because you do exist in my time. Sam's told me all about you. He's like, Sam's alive? And it's like, yep, there you go. You got him. That's how you're going to do it. Chris Starling, he got to be Prime Kirk in the video call. Oh, that's true. Mad Spectre says, hey, Cap, just got here. How did you enjoy this episode? I think it's one of the best of the series. Yeah, I would agree with that. Star Trek, Ensign Kim also got complaints about his music. That's true. I don't get why people say this is trying to erase TOS when it's going out of its way to try to explain the shifting times and eugenics wars and recanonize the first date. Yes, people are idiots, and they. I hate this. Look at all the mistakes they're making. I have to hate it. That's those people. So. Maluka made an appearance, made some money in the 90s on that stuff when they showed the Lanthian along with your hometown, Ontario. My hometown, Ontario. Ontario ain't a town, my friend. I totally bought the dating and possible love relationship between La'an and Kirk. If this is a different universe, then please carry it forward. They will work together. Hello, Paul Wesley is the real Kirk. Has been seen in the finals. Yeah, I get it. I'm behind in the chat. I made a mistake. Yes, we saw the real fucking Kirk, but not as a captain. We haven't seen the real Captain Kirk. We've seen Lieutenant Kirk. So I get it. Yes, I fucked up. Thank you for correcting me, everybody. Oh my God. Also a nice twist at the end. Yeah. I got to watch this episode early on Amazon on Tuesday. I really need that. There you go. A lot of people did. Who besides me watched Venom Geek Media's video on Shields today? Not me. If people are smart enough to make temporal devices, they're smart enough to know you don't screw with major events. What year was Picard Season 2 set in again? This was 2023. This was 2020. They don't never say it, but it was 2022 because she says the events are supposed to happen in 1992, and I've been here for 30 years. So puts it in 2022 when they filmed it. Well, I think they may have filmed it a little bit earlier, actually. I think Picard was also 2022, so Picard was at the same time. Spontaneous human combustion was invented by Romulans. Yeah. She was trapped on Earth for 30 years, like Captain Braxton, except she didn't deal with quasi-Cardassian totalitarians. Wouldn't she have to go back to 1971? 10-year-old Khan would not rule 1/4 of the world. He would be at least an adult. Yeah, that's a problem, but yeah. I think he only really came into power in 1992, though, and it took him. He was in power for a few years, and then they ousted him in 1996. So wouldn't the engineer have remembered the situation? Oh my God, we already addressed that. Honestly, I think it's a great canon fix for the eugenics wars. It explains why it didn't happen in the 90s, while also having it open to the future. Is the armor that Voyager was wrapped up and referred to as transphasic armor? I don't think so. Could be. I don't know. I don't remember. What the hell does that have to do with anything? The timeline recorrect itself explains a lot about time travel and alternate universe in Star Trek. Geraldine Carsonson throws in $20. What's your poison of choice tonight, Kat? Well, I have I have Peach Crown Royal. I have Havana Club. And I have Apple Crown Royal. I've been drinking the Apple Crown Royal. Plus, I've got peach juice tonight, so I'm just gonna have Apple Crown Royal too. Except the peach stuff going on. So Apple Crown Royal. So. All right. So anyway, cheers. Thank you, Geraldine. Yeah, ablative generators. Thank you. Kirk driving is also a callback to the 2009 movie. No, because he knew how to fucking drive as a kid in the 2009 movie. So this has no connection to that because he would know how to drive a car. So there's no callback to that at all. This callback was legit. Like he did started, it's like, oh, okay. Backs into the other car and then boom, 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 and then starts driving. And I got to say, for the record, Toronto police would not let you go because they're being filmed live, especially considering that it was reckless driving, public endangerment, driving without a license, not having insurance. It was a stolen vehicle. Not that maybe the guy hasn't got up and reported it yet, but the car is not in this guy's name that's driving it. So while Canadians are nice, they're not that nice. In DS9, when Bashir is found out to have been an augment, didn't they cite Khan's dates of rule closer to the 21st century? Or the mid-21st century? I don't recall. Michael Burnham would have mastered that car in less than 1 second. The temporal Cold War changed time, delayed events. If you can delay events, it's the millions affected that causes a butterfly effect that wouldn't be the same future. Yeah, that's the other thing. Paul Wesley's or Kirk's Enterprise would not have looked like that if there was no United Federation of Planets. Because when the United Federation of Planets was formed, all of them chipped in, like the Vulcans with their warp technology, the Andorians with their weapons technology, and the Tellarites with their shield technology. They all came and designed a ship, the ships that are in Starfleet. There's no way that the humans would have been able to build a ship that looked exactly the same. Not that we saw the exterior of the Enterprise at all when it was Kirk's ship, so it might have looked different, but the interior was the same. That makes no goddamn sense. And the fact that there's nobody on Earth, like on the Moon, Venus, Mars, and Europa, I like that. But where are you getting the resources then to build all of these ships and have the same Starfleet, or the same fleet? Doesn't make sense. That's one thing Wesley did well. It's like Kirk, roll with the situation. Yeah. Michael Burnham's mom was involved with many times. Who cares? Nobody cares about Michael Burnham's mom and her timeline shenanigans. It doesn't matter. The Scottish Nightmare. Why would the Enterprise look the same if there was no Federation? I just got to that. Good call. In fairness, the Enterprise probably wouldn't look the same either. Crossed the U.S.-Canadian border without passports. War God 6, they explained that. Because when I missed that too the first time, but the second time, when the archaeology department door opens, she says, look, we had to bribe a border guard, take 2 buses and whatever to get here. So they bribed a border guard. Peter Lukaku, $5. Why do Vulcans' names always start with letter S or T other than Virak? It's logical, I guess. Star Trek, they even have the optimistic future colors and same uniforms for dystopian space fleet. Yeah. And we never talked about it again. Hello, sorry. The music in this episode had a TOS feel to me in some parts. Not even a cool space belt or scar. Peter Lukaku, you're forgetting that T'Pol's ex-husband Koss. The car chase in this episode is better than the one in Picard Season 2. Oh, hands down. Could he pick a more conspicuous vehicle, though? It's the baby Hitler question. It is. The USS Iowa timeline, Kirk was not really a bad or evil timeline. Earth was human only. Definitely a better overall episode than the middle of Picard season 2. The music was good too. Was the photo of the Bird of Prey TOS version? Yes, we have a video coming out about that. Toronto seems like a nice place. It is. A later version of Picard season 2. And by the way, there would be no way there'd be that little traffic in Toronto. But I got to give them props because everywhere you looked on the street, there were fucking construction. There's construction going on. That's definitely Toronto. Toronto and London, actually. There's fucking construction. There's 2 seasons in Canada, winter and construction. So maybe Vancouver would be Vancouver in some future Hollywood TV show or film. Also, does that mean Khan is Canadian? It's very cold in space, eh? No, it doesn't mean he's Canadian. Just that the project that created him has an office in Toronto that they're currently storing him at. So we can blame... You can't. No, you can't. Everyone said they could kill a baby or child, Hitler. But could you really pull the trigger on a child even though you know the child grows up to be? They've done this time travel thing so many times it isn't funny anymore. Okay. USS Iowa Kirk is different from Calvin Kirk. Yes. They named Pelia's species in this episode. They named it in the first fucking episode. The Lanthanites. They did not name her species in this episode. It was named in the first episode when they say it twice in the first episode. So I don't know where that's coming from. I didn't know you could hustle that much cash with chess. Kirk obviously earned a bunch. Hotel travel, bribe border guards. Pumpkin Spice, don't really understand why they made a big deal about number 1 being genetically modified, but Khan's granddaughter, or great-great-granddaughter, so she is too, and they know it, though she is going to keep it. Well, she's not genetically modified. She's just a progeny of Khan, filtered through a couple generations, so she's maybe a little enhanced, but she's not. Oh my god. I noticed they did not tell what prime period the Romulan was from. They ended on the camera panning back to the watch. I think it will pay off later, possibly. Why did Khan call it Jim Kirk at the end? Why did it Kanan call? Oh, why didn't La'an call him Jim Kirk at the end? He called it James because James is more personal. Pelia's species was also named in episode 1. Yes. Can't believe Kirk and La'an went to Vermont. My home state. It looked like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme pointing at my TV. Yeah. What is Putin? I'm not even going to fucking answer that because it's a joke question. The Toronto thing was a good meta joke. Nice to see them own that they shoot there and give the city some love. Yes. I've been to Toronto. It was like The Wizard of Oz, Blade Runner, and Harold Lloyd trolley car chase scene from an old silent film. They all blend together. Canada hot dogs. They apologize for their blandness when they eat them. The Mexico tint has been deployed over Canada. Yes. I think I appreciate this episode more, being that you have these Canadian references to point out. I definitely appreciated it more, for sure. I liked when she made a crack about Kirk's middle name. Yeah, and Sam's. Well, Sam's is his middle name. Regarding the timeline changes, I wonder if Boimler and Mariner will pick up how the Enterprise doesn't look quite how it's supposed to when they show up. That's the dream. We're hoping that'll happen. We'll see. Guy Parkin, I hate those people that say Star Trek is too woke. Star Trek has always been woke, and it's not woke, it's just progressive, yes. The Scottish Nightmare, I just don't understand why they feel the need to alter the dates. It really doesn't really add anything, it just makes it confusing. You're not wrong. Kirk's brother's name is officially George Samuel Kirk. Yeah, it always has been. We knew that in TOS. Post-Human, Strange New Worlds is 100% the prime timeline. All they've done is offer a canon explanation for all the many inconsistencies that have twisted the trick since the beginning. Temporal instabilities. If you say so, you believe what you want to believe. They want to believe it as well, but they're wrong, so it's fine. I know what I believe. You can believe what you want to believe. I'm not gonna chastise you for it. Yeah, it's sadly on and Kirk don't get to be in love. They made a good pair. Joseph Barbato. Well, now it makes sense why La'an was Kirk's first officer in the finale of season 1. Star Trek, unlike Star Wars, has been overtly faithful to canon for a long time. Even before New Trek, there was a divergence. And even Star Wars now has parallel canon. Relax, it was a fun episode. Peter Parker debuted in the 60s, and now in the 2020s, the character is in his 20s. His history is the same, but the dates have shifted over time. It's the same thing here. It's changed a canonical. It's just a canonical fudging. Hypno Amber says, I hate time travel episodes that go back to modern day. Always my least favorite, but this episode was amazing and one of my faves. Yeah, I thought the exact same thing. Like Picard season 2 going back to modern times, I was like, oh, for fuck's sakes. But this one I was like, oh, it's because I'm Canadian, Toronto. It was kind of nice. My favorite part of Picard was when the Borg Queen needed lithium ion to feed, and she ate lead acid car batteries. Yeah, I know. I thought Kirk's kissing La'an was a bit too soon. Drum roll. Badumch. Cosmo says, yeah, somebody mentioned it already, but why the sudden change of MO from slowing humanity down years later to help them? I don't know. She says she's stuck on Earth for 30 years, but to me, that gives a little wiggle room. It could mean a little more or a little less. I feel like you tend to round off when you're talking. Oh, I agree. They never said the date. They never said it was 2022. Yeah, I totally agree with you. It could have been any time. Plus, with that bridge being built, which doesn't exist, it could be any time in the future as well. I'm not really too sure. According to the time travel laws that New Trek shows have used, this is the first assassination attempt that delayed the timeline. You would have created a branching universe that split up from the prime one. You thought Canadian police only rode horses. Wow. Wow. I really hope you're joking and trying to be funny. By the way, it's not funny. It's kind of offensive, honestly. Because one of our moderators even said the same thing to me like 2 months ago, and it's like, it's not funny, guys. Sorry. That's a stereotype that's just not funny. Fleet Paw throws in $5. Those of y'all complaining about timelines, remember this. Timeline. This is no time to argue about time. We don't have the time. I think the police would have fired shots in real life. Mark Henson says, I don't know what poutine is, but clearly it has gravy. You don't know what fucking poutine is. Seriously. Poutine is French fries, cheese curds, and gravy, and it's fantastic. Northwest Rail fan, wouldn't that mean the Mirror Enterprise shouldn't look the same, even considering they enslaved those races? Yes. Absolutely. And we've said that all for years now. Obviously, the alternate Enterprise interior looks the same as the Stranger Worlds Enterprise for the same reason that the Mirror Universe Enterprise looks like the TOS Enterprise. Exactly. They did change the displays, though. The displays were Disco Season 2 Enterprise displays, the blue instead of the multicolored. And they had the multicolored at the top, and it was different. But interior of this ship is the same as the exterior schematics on the walls are the same. It was a budget. I fucking understand why the ship looks the same. I'm just saying it wouldn't. And they could have done some set dressing to make it look different. Just saw a huge pothole. Ira Graves taught soon about cybernetics, not Eric Soon from. Oh my god. I like the United Earth callback. That's what Kirk called the Federation and Corbinite maneuver. Yeah, I noticed that too. But you could argue that the fleet, that humanity did it themselves because they had to get off the planet they killed. You could. I understand that they made a fleet. There's no way it would look like that. It would not look the same. The ships would not be the same configuration. They wouldn't have the same technology. There's no way. Of course, Kirk driving is a callback to the 2009 movie. It's even a callback to Kirk driving a motorcycle in Beyond and Picard riding an Argo in Nemesis. It's a callback. It's not necessarily true. Oh my god. I'll be right back. Stay. The reason I said the driving scene was a callback because it's the exact same thing that happened in a piece of the action. I understand he's driven before. I get it. It's not a callback to those things because this was an exact copy where he backs into the other car and then he like very roughly moves forward. But also TOS had the same ship. Oh my god. Riverside, Iowa's made canon here. It's been canon already. I do like that the Romulan agent admits that the whole Khan thing was supposed to happen anytime too, but the timeline changed, so I guess this confirms that that whole period's been shifted by shenanigans. Yeah. Peter Lukaku, $5. So, Cap, can you see the relationship bond of Kirk and Spock here, like in the 2009 and TOS? Can you see the relation of Kirk and Spock? No. Why does Spock... I don't know, man. Being Leon is not full augmented would explain why she has struggled against the Romulan. She must be augmented enough for Mbanga to be concerned during their sparring session. Why was there a TOS Romulan bird of prey in the 21st century? That ship is way too early or too old from the future. Fucking time travel? Maybe they slingshotted around the sun to go back to stop Earth of the past. Maybe it was using their quantum singularity drives, which they shouldn't have at that point, but apparently they do because of the last episode of the last season. It doesn't matter. Maybe they found a way to travel back in time. Well, obviously they did because she was from the future. So, Peter Lukaku, $2. Star Trek is far left liberal. Oh my god. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm actually looking forward to seeing more of this version of Kirk. Me too. I can't believe it as well. You're absolutely right. I noticed the bridge ran east-west parallel to the Toronto shore, not north-south across Lake Ontario. No wonder it was billions over budget. It was going the wrong way. Was there a Tim Hortons reference in this episode? Yes, the cop was drinking a Tim Hortons. You can see the top of the white maple leaf on his cup. That's a Tim Hortons cup. RCMP is just a modern, it's just as modern and capable of any Western police forces. I had RCMP that worked for in Kosovo in 2000, 2001, solid guy. Yeah, they're like our FBI. And they're just as, they got SWAT teams and everything, which the SWAT teams aren't Clydesdale horses. They actually have like vehicles and stuff. and like tactical armor. Yeah, and it's not red either, it's black. Jesus Christ. Feel like Hako, $5. Kirk needs to express with his hands more. No, he doesn't. He really doesn't. I noticed that getting screen caps. He's like all over the place with his hands. I like the temporal wars linked to the eugenics wars and the continuity of effects, like the Enterprise shimmer when the timeline is changed. The Tal Shiar disintegration effect from Picard series premiere. On that topic, how would people feel if Stranger Worlds established that Prime Kirk also had a taste for 90s hip hop? Wow. Wesley gave a great interview in the Ready Room. He grew up and loves TOS. They all say that, though, so you can't believe it. He doesn't want to be a copy of Shatner, but pay homage to him, and I respect that. They all say that, too. Captain Foley, I saw this episode. It was good, and they kind of explained why New Trek is different and looks different from Old Trek because it's a temporal Cold War, but they never explained. Does the old timeline still exist? Yes. Fuck's sakes, guys. The TOS timeline still exists. If this is different, they basically, in my mind, they've solidified the fact that this is not Prime Timeline. This is the Disco Timeline, and that's fine. It's very similar to the TOS one. The events, the people, everything is similar, and that's fine. It doesn't erase TOS. I don't know why people keep saying that. The kind of time travel that we're talking about means history is always changing subtly. Since they remastered the TOS series, they remastered TOS as Prime and the original look at the old timeline. Due South probably caused this Canadian police issue. Very likely, yes, but Due South is a good show. I like the bridge being confused for this. I like the bridge being confused for the Starship Bridge. Yeah, that was very great. Name comes from platform between paddles, wheelbox, and the first. Okay, it was a bridge. Got it. Daniel's Hot Topics. Lest we forget, the Kelvin timeline was created by time travel. That suggests the Kelvin timeline was not created by time travel. You subscribe to anti-Trekker or salty Trekkers theory that the events of First Contact created the Kelvin timeline. Okay, maybe, possibly. I'll concede that. All right? Because every time you change something, it splits. It splits the timeline. It's one of those convergent points where you could turn left, you could turn right. You chose to turn left the first time, all this shit happened. Go back and try right, all this shit will happen. But all that other shit still happens, so there's still two timelines. Maybe that, whatever the fuck that word is. Bird of Prey, it was experimenting with very early Romulan quantum singularity core with an unstable core matrix setting, hence the time jump for the Bird of Prey. Perfect. Experiments. Colin Barrett, also after the Romulans shot Kirk and the alarms went off, why didn't the big heavy maximum security door relock? Good question. Gary Davis Jr., $5. Interesting. I sense frustration. Breathe, Captain. Yeah, I'm a little frustrated. And I shouldn't be, but I am. I'm on edge. Braga admitted in an interview that Future Guy was supposed to be Archer, though I don't know how they could make that work. Oh, they could. I've heard ideas how that would work. TOS timeline still exists on DVD, Blu-ray, and VHS tapes. Late TV is a sad streaming service. Mad Spectre says, doesn't TNG Parallels kind of show us that every possible timeline can exist? It does exist? Yes, it does. That's why I firmly believe that Strange New Worlds is not the Prime timeline. But they say it is. Well, then it must be, because they said so. even though they're going to great lengths to show us visually that it's clearly not. Believe what you want to believe. If you want to believe they're bullshit and the prime timeline, go right ahead. I choose to believe it's the Discoveryverse, in which case I can enjoy it 1,000 times more than I already do, because it's not prime timeline. It's fine. So little hiccups and niggles that you see, they're fine. Either can be explained away by it's not the prime timeline. I really like that George being alive was the only thing that fully convinced Kirk to agree to Lawrence' plan. Yeah, that was great. Trekyards, I have family that lives in Toronto, and now I am bombarded with how cool it is set there. BJ throws in $1. Thank you so much. When will they show the actors' names and characters in the intro instead of 24 producers? I really noticed it. I know, that bothers me too. Did you cry when the hot Romulan girl, well, she wasn't hot at all. I didn't find her at all attractive, but okay. Was killed by La'an. She was so cute. She was not, though. No, she wasn't. It was a shock to find out she was a Romulan. PJ says, I'm short on cash, but I can give you $1 super chat from money I did not win by playing chess in any dimensions. And then throws in another $1. BJ, if you don't have any money, don't super chat. Seems like some people need to watch TNG Parallels to see how many timelines can exist simultaneously. Yes, that chart that Geordi shows in the conference room where it's like... Yeah. Imagine showing up at the Guardian of Forever and asking you what timeline on what streaming service. Daniel gave us temporal psychosis could make Archer an evil future guy. On Voyager, it was established too many time jumps could make you lose your mind. Apparently watching too many time travel episodes makes fucking people lose their minds as well. From comments I've seen online about this goddamn episode. Peter Lacaco throws in $20. Amazing. William Shatner brought a blend of charisma, confidence, and commanding presence. He has distinct mannerisms. It's going to be hard to recreate Kirk. It will never feel like him. You're not wrong at all. But I think Chris Pine does a good job of being his own Kirk. And now that I've seen this episode, I'm really digging Paul Wesley's Kirk. A lot of the facial mannerisms and expressions that he has are very reminiscent of young William Shatner in TOS. And just the smart-ass comments. Like, that's more writing than the actor. But still, I think he does a fine job with Kirk. So I take back everything I said about Paul Wesley not having the gravitas for Kirk, because he clearly does. So, anyway, cheers. Thank you so much. They are juggling some weird contradictions since USS New Jersey and Picard is pretty faithful to U.S. Connie, while the Stranger World... We've talked about that ad nauseum. There's ways to explain it. Captain, I've seen the training RCMP goes through at Depot. It's no joke, and the red surge is for ceremony only. They go through the same obstacles as I do, and this is coming from a U.S. cop. Yeah, I'm well aware. You don't have to tell me that. Tell everybody else that Mounties are just... They wear red uniforms and have funny hats and they ride horses. And they don't have a gun. They have like a maple syrup bottle. Haha, that's funny. Ha 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 ha. Coven Timeline was created post-Nemesis, as was the movie Enterprise. Was created because of First Contact, which could also be part of Discover's, maybe. Since they both remember the bridge blowing up, does that mean that the Prime Timeline was where the bridge didn't get destroyed by the future weapon? Possibly, yeah. I'm hopeful there's a timeline where Porthos manages to live forever. Well, poor Porthos. All these shenanigans is why I hope no one ever invents time travel. Amen. Unless it's me. I'd love to see Archer as future guy in future episodes of Strange New Worlds. That'd be awesome and a good way to bring him back. And Paul Wesley is growing on me as Kirk. Yep. Dean Badger throws in $20 and says, take a shot, Cap. My God, man. Yes, indeed, I will. Okay, there we go. That's full. Yeah, set that down. Wipe the socks, otherwise it gets all sticky and the lid fucking sticks and ugh. Gross. Grody. Right. Thank you, Dean. Much needed shot. I'm very frustrated right now. I shouldn't be, because I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed this episode. That was fun and fantastic. All right. Wesley started off a bit Canadian, asking La'an what she was doing on his bridge, but it felt like he got more comfortable when the episode went on. The bridge has blown up in both timelines. Yes, we just said that. But considering that one is the Discoverse and one is whatever Kirk was from, is it possible, this was what was asked, was it possible that that bridge never got blown up in the Prime timeline? Yes, it is. I'm so glad of time travel episodes now. Look how everyone's reacting to your questions. No more time travel episodes. Darth Eddie, I won't like the multigrain or wheat hot dog bun. Made me hungry. They look good. I absolutely wanted to throw up when I saw that they were like a whole wheat fucking hot dog bun. I can't stand whole wheat bread. I don't mind multigrain for like a sandwich or something, but like whole wheat is just gross. Beginning to think back, it's not time travel episodes I don't like, it's the discussion of them that annoys me. Yes, Verpine, I will firmly agree with you. Fun, but Canada, and to a lesser extent, Toronto, is going to own the future. Get used to it, my south of the border friends. Raven DeGray, I wish I could afford a $20 super chat, as it might have to demote my monthly membership. Oh no, you're not, what? I might have to demote my monthly membership. It doesn't say you're a member, unless you're a member over on Patreon. But it doesn't say you're a member here. Daniel's Hot Topics. If you were in La'an's position, would you have killed off Little Khan? Nope, probably not. That would cause more trouble than it would be worth. Just got done watching the episode. I enjoyed it, even like Kirk, even though he is not Kirk yet. Another thing I found funny was how they both picked the same thing to wear. Well, one of us is going to have to change. The Dark Lord Revan throws in $10. My personal headcanon is the events of Strange New Worlds still happened in the OG Prime timeline, but the visuals and any canon spelt wrong. Canon only has one N in this instance. Contradiction are just it's an adjacent timeline. End of the day, it's all Archer's fault. I like adjacent timeline. I like that. Is it just me, or does this version of Kirk remind me of Ace Ventura? No, it doesn't. The Darth Eddie, kudos to the producers for Kirk's ready room containing a TOS-shaped, box-shaped desktop monitor and the TOS comm panel with multicolored switches. Andre Benson throws in $5. I said last season I didn't put too much into Paul Wesley Kirk because it was a different timeline. I thought it was better this episode. I agree with that. But still, it's still not our Kirk. But at the end, he was Kirk. Yeah, I know. I get it. He was only Lieutenant Kirk, though. We haven't seen Captain Kirk in Prime yet, or in the Strange New Worlds continuity. I also find it very enjoyable. Makes me like La'an even more than I did before. Yeah, she's really grown on me. I hated her at the beginning of season 1, but over the course of season 1, she really, everything about the character, God damn it, and the actress really impressed me. And this one definitely added to that. Would you say yay or nay to musical episode of Strange New Worlds? Are you looking forward to Lower Decks crossover episode? Of course I'm looking forward to the crossover episode. It's going to be fantastic. As for a musical, I personally would love that. I think that'd be hilarious. Sam would fucking rip his hair out, though. I haven't had a math class since Pythagoras made that crap up. Yeah, I laughed out loud at that too. Peter the Caco, $2. What was the com badge in Newkirk timeline? Well, they're not com badges, at least they shouldn't be. They're just badges, and I don't know what it was. Paul Wesley's last name is a mouthful. It's actually Powell Thomas Wazilski. He is Polish American. Dustin D, I love eating whole wheat bread. Good on you. You can have all mine, because fuck, it's gross. Ooh, whole wheat with honey is awesome, but I can see how some don't like it. The com badge on alternate Kirks appears to be United or Space Force emblem, since its Ready Room wall view screen has the same shape. The Dark Lord Revan, $5. I like how the Romulans said Khan was supposed to show up in 1992. So the timeline has already been changed. Yes, she also made the point of saying that many Temple Cold Wars have been fought over this, either to kill Khan or delay the events, and it's caused a bunch of shit. And as a result, she's been there for 30 fucking years. Perhaps the bridge was never built in the prime timeline, especially since eugenic wars occurred 30 years earlier. Absolutely, because that bridge does not exist in Toronto, so it's not a real bridge. The On is from the prime timeline and remembers the bridge being blown up, so it's impossible for the bridge not to be blown up. For fuck's sake, Subspace Chatter. Strange New Worlds was never the prime timeline, as is evident by the visual discontinuity. So it was never prime timeline to begin with. It's always been Discoveryverse. My God, man. Yes, Captain, I have a council membership on Patreon. Ooh, well, thank you so much. Federation Council is indeed impressive. Ooh. Sorry, it just doesn't show that here, unfortunately, so I apologize. Yeah, it might be an ensign soon, unless I can learn how to play chess. Being broke sucks. Oh no. BJ says, what about a hot dog bun made from quadrilocaly? Blah. Spock didn't say the grain was developed. Spock did say the grain was developed in Canada. He did. The whole thing was Khan was necessary for Earth to meet Vulcans and form the Federation. It's like the Doctor Who. Some points in time are fixed and some are in flux. Khan is a necessary fixed point. Mad Spectre says, has TOS obsessions past events happened yet? If so, the ship is Turkish now right now. Was the frigate destroyed by the Draconian cloud creature? I don't know where that lines up with where Kirk is right now. It's probably very close, but I don't know if it's already happened or will happen. Luckily, I've always liked the On, but now even more. Great episode. Peter Kako says, Hooker just showed up. I'm out, guys. I'm out. Night, guys. Night, Peter. I think Kirk would be a lieutenant commander or commander, otherwise meteoric promotion. He sped through the ranks. BJ says, if you could time travel and really hated Earth, you just nuke it. Or if you really wanted a challenge, redirect an asteroid or two towards it. Or stop one. Yeah, stop the dinosaur one. They got to meet the early versions of Section 31. They should have met the CIA, FBI, NSA, and United States Secret Service Navy intelligence. And the KGB is Scotland Yard. What the fuck did you just say? Anyway, Mark says, these ads are getting ridiculous. Another one during this live. Welcome to YouTube, everybody. They got to make their money. Deo says, I've never disliked Dawn, but I'm sure there were plenty that did early season 1 and have since turned around to liking the character, A+ character development. Yeah, I'm one of those people. I didn't like her at the beginning. Bribing an American border guard may be believable. Bribing a Canadian border guard, not believable. Business or pleasure, Captain Kirk. Yeah, bribing a guard with the money that he won from chess? That would have to be a fuck of a lot of money. Those border guards are pretty serious. It's only a land border, though, so you don't have to cross a bridge or anything. So there are other ways to get. Anyway, it's fine. Great episode. Thoroughly enjoyed it. So far, favorite episode, and one of my favorite Stranger Worlds. Favorite episode of the season, and one of my favorite Stranger Worlds. I'm kind of right there with you. Yes. The Darth Eddy. The Romulan is basically a female alien version of Captain Braxton, trapped in the past. She's been there 30 years while Braxton crashed on Earth in 1967 and spent 29 years trapped there. Yeah, early on, she reminded me very much of Sarah Silverman from when they went back to 1996. But then, yeah, her being the bad guy. If the Romulan agent was on Earth for 30 years, how did she know about Captain Kirk? Because she was from the fucking future. It's not that difficult, guys. She says she's from the future. What future? I don't know. Is she from TOS era future, like a couple years into the TOS series? Or is she from, like, Next Generation future and gone back and has heard all the stories of Kirk? Don't know. Never clarified. That's how she knows about Kirk. How is that difficult to figure out? Like, I don't understand how your brain works. Like, you don't get that. I'm sorry. I just need to ask that question. Like, how do you not know that she's from the future? She's not from the exact same moment in time that Kirk from the actual Strange New Worlds future is, where he's a lieutenant and nobody gives a shit. She's from a future that's further ahead who knows about Captain Kirk and his exploits. Like, how do you not understand that? I'm genuinely asking this question because I'm confused how people don't have the capacity to figure that out. I'm not trying to be insulting. That fucking baffles my mind. How questions like that are asked. That's why I get so frustrated. I'm sorry. Sorry, Eric. Stranger Worlds is definitely in the prime timeline. Regardless of your fanboy complaints, that's it, not end of. Fucking calling me a fanboy, wow. Think what you want to think, be what you want to be, say what you want to say. Sir Dork, we've gotten a good Spock so far. Kirk is growing on me. Now I hope we get a good Dr. McCoy at some point. Yes, McCoy would be awesome. Eric says, what would happen if La'an told the child Khan to use his abilities to help people? That would have been helpful. After she just killed somebody. Anyway, you're coughing a lot. Oh my God. I'm not even going to address that one. It has nothing to do with the fucking smoke. I like this episode, and this new Kirk is growing on me a little. Absolutely. And that hotel room was huge with chess money. I know, that bugged me too. In Stargate, the Goa'uld towed a modified asteroid filled with volatile mineral through hyperspace and dumped it in the solar system to make it look like a natural extinction level event. Yes, and that would happen. That's what I would do if I was going back in time to alter some planet's fate. Trekyards was weird that they got evidence from the bridge so easily, and also answers the question of how the Botany Bay was built. So advanced because they seem to be aware of aliens and their tech. Hotels.com. Cheap rooms, good deals. Absolutely. Lincoln Tech says, so Khan was born in my hometown, Toronto. I never do that. Lincoln Tech, no, he was not born in fucking Toronto. For fuck's sakes, guys. This is the other thing that baffles my fucking mind. Do you not understand that the Noonien Singh Institution, it's a corporation. They have offices in different cities. Doesn't mean he was fucking born there. It just means he's currently there, being held. Nero knew who Kirk was, and he didn't even live until nearly a century after he was believed to die. If Nero, a minor who knew Kirk, then a temporal agent would definitely know. Exactly. Eric Martin throws in $20. For Pete's sake, take a drink. You finally caught up to the chat. I mean, kind of. Now I'm gonna fucking be way behind again. But that's okay. Thank you, Eric. Good to see you. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. Holy shit. That's a fucking full shot glass that almost overflowed. Cheers. Because as Q would say, I think time very linearly. Okay, well, then fucking expand your mind. BJ says the TOS novel The First Frontier had a good time travel alternate timeline story. Angry aliens try to destroy humanity by saving the dinosaurs, but an alternative timeline alien are still losers. Newkirk is famous for being a vampire. Perfect. Why would the Romulan agent show them a picture of a warbird? That's a very good question. Maybe to test to see the reaction, because I think she might have known that they were from the future or had some knowledge, and I think showing them that would be like, I as Kirk, I probably would have said, I know that ship, that's a Romulan. Maybe that's why. Watch this episode, I have a feeling they wanted to do a two-parter, possibly. If you're going to argue visual discontinuity as the main reason for Stranger Worlds being its own universe, I still consider this prime timeline. I just placed the blame on creative for taking too many liberties. That's fine. Just don't be a dick about it and call me a fanboy. You can believe what you want to believe. I really don't give a fuck. But I'm just saying, this is my point of view. I'm here on my live talking about it. That's what I think, that this is the Discoverse. It's not prime timeline. Accept my reality, accept my discussion, or don't, or go watch another video. It's one or the other. Don't fucking argue with me on my live. That's all I'm saying. And call me a fanboy? Get the fuck out of here. Braga talked about this as a challenge of trying to balance modern aesthetics with the 60s. I still consider this prime timeline. I just placed the blame on creative for doing too. It's fine. Anyway, sorry, I misread that comment. If you're going to argue visual continuity as the main reason for sharing videos, then the same needs to be said for Enterprise. Yeah, Enterprise also is in prime timeline. I never thought it was. Look at TOS, TNG, Voyager, and DS9 are prime timeline. It's that fucking simple. Those are the ones that are prime timeline. You can tell Enterprise isn't, I've made this point many times, you can tell Enterprise isn't prime timeline. You know why? Because on the Enterprise D, when in the briefing room, there's all the fucking Enterprises, from the fucking shuttle to the fucking, the skipper ship, to the goddamn aircraft carrier to the shuttle. It's there's no fucking NX-01. And they even say a few times, this is the fifth ship to bear the name. The NX-01 was never included. Well, the Federation didn't exist when the fucking Enterprise was doing its thing. Well, then it's still the fucking most important ship in Starfleet history for establishing Starfleet, being Captain Archer, and for being the first ship to leave Earth's solar system as the Warp 5 ship. It's a very important Enterprise. It should be on the fucking display with all the other ships. You know why it's not? Because it's not prime timeline. I've been saying that all along since fucking Enterprise first aired, too. But whatever. I'm a fanboy, so. The captain, a fan of Star Trek, what? The next thing you know, Subspace will be telling us that the Titan shuttles are needed for chassis systems. I love it. I love it. And where was the cold fusion? How did the watch find the genetic modification unit? Well, it was in the same building. I mean, you saw the sign, right? It said genetic labs, and then the reactor pointing the same way down the hallway. That's how. It's the same fucking building. Mod warning. Enough with saying anything about the cough. Comments will be deleted and you will be warned. Continued mentioning will lead to timeout. Thank you, Fleet. Oh, you guys care about me. You moderators. I love you. Chuck Jones. I thought it was funny how Pelia claimed to not know anything about engineering in the past. I guess La'an is responsible for her studying engineering, or did it just scam Spock into becoming an engineer? I think La'an was the one that was like, gave her the nudge to check it out. You know, I wish she would have said that I was once married to a man who was a mechanic, which would tie into taxi. That would be perfect. It's like, I didn't really have an interest in, all that grease monkey stuff, but I might look into it. I wish they would have made some kind of reference like that. The Romulan girl vaporized herself when she got shot. She could have been saved and taken back to the future. What a waste of a beautiful Romulan girl. She wasn't beautiful at all. I found her not attractive at all, but you do you, Daniel. What's the connection between Noonien Soong and Noonien Singh in Star Trek? None. This was such a great episode. 100% agree with you. Eric Martin. With the cheesy sign on the door, I almost imagine the kid to be wearing a "Hello, my name is Khan" sticker. Wow. Peter the Kako, $5. I would watch TNG episodes 10 times over, but only watch these new episodes once without interest. Reason? I don't know. I thought your hooker was there, Peter. Why are you here? Why are you super chatting? You only watch these episodes once without interest. Reason? I don't know. You're asking me a question that speaks to why you won't watch something? I don't understand. Neil Hammersmith said I would never call you a fanboy. No, but that other dipshit did. Which dipshit was it? Subspace Chatter called me a fanboy. Fleetpaw. One is spelled Noonien Soong, the other is spelled Noonien Singh. It's probably got something to do with ancestry as well. Isn't it a little weird that a random security officer can call and immediately get a captain on the phone? He's not a captain, he's a lieutenant. So no, it's not weird at all. Do you not pay attention? It even says in the corner, Lieutenant Kirk. And he says, "Hi, it's Lieutenant Kirk. How are you? Do I know you?" He's a lieutenant. So no, it's not weird at all. Plus she's security. And I think that trumps captaincy in some cases. Again, people just don't pay attention to what's on screen in front of them or the dialogue. That being said, I mean, I watch these a little bit differently than you guys probably because I have to pay attention to every goddamn thing. And I've also watched it 3 times already today because once to get the first watch in my screen caps, second time to watch it and get all of the dialogue via subtitles, and the third time just hanging out with Sylvia so she can see it. So I don't understand how people miss this stuff. That being said, though, I sometimes miss stuff, so. In the episode, Kirk is not captain yet. He's a lieutenant. Fleetpaw's got my back. I love Fleetpaw's moderator. He is my best moderator. Followed very closely by Matt Boardman. But Matt Boardman's been kind of gone as of late. But that's okay. He's been busy. You're not a fanboy, and to me the term fakey. You're not a fanboy, and to me the term fakey, and you're not. It's the fakies that don't like your opinion, which even I agree with many of your opinions. You don't have to agree with my opinion. I don't want you guys to agree with my opinion. I'm here on this live stream in my house on my channel giving you my opinion. If you don't fucking like it, I don't give a fuck. It's my opinion. I'm not going to fucking bend to your will. So thank you, WarGod6, for saying I'm not a fanboy. I appreciate that. I hate the fucking term fanboy. It's fucking bullshit and also gatekeeping. Like, anyway. So, yeah. This is my channel, my opinion. You don't like it, fuck off. Go watch another video. I don't give a shit. Seriously. There's the door. See yourself out. I will read your comments. I will read your opinions. And sometimes I do change my mind based on your opinions. Unless they're incredibly stupid, which sometimes they are. And there are people that just don't fucking listen or don't understand that other people have different points of view. I get that a lot of people think this is prime timeline. Even the fucking creators think it's prime timeline. Are they delusional? Yes. But it's their product, they think it is. So I understand why a lot of people latch onto it. It's definitely prime timeline because they say it is. It definitely is. The visuals are just because, it's modern Trek. And the 60s don't work. The cardboard and the wood, those sets don't work anymore. I get it. I get why you say that. I just disagree. And you're here to hear my opinion. If you're not here to hear my opinion, I don't know why you're fucking here. By all means, there's the fucking little X in the corner. Please click it and go watch another channel if you don't want to hear my opinion. This is my opinion. I love reading your opinions and discussing them. And sometimes you'll change my point of view. Sometimes you will. Other times you're not going to. There's a lot of things I'm very solid and rigid on as far as my opinion goes. Don't get perverted. But anyway, yeah, so that's my take on it. So thank you, WarGod6, for saying I'm not a fanboy. Anybody that says I'm a fanboy, don't know what to tell you, man. Quickest way to shoot yourself in the fucking ass. I figured she realized he was Kirk after the initial photo incident, and then showed him the Romulan warbird in order to get him to, and then to lead her to the institution. Yeah, that's also the vibe that I got too, that she wanted to use them to gain access or to see what they were up to. Pelia, I haven't taken a math class since Trekyards made the crap up. I know, I love that. I love how Stranger Worlds is giving each character meaningful screen time. It's a solid start to the season. Can't wait for the next episode. Jeff W. says, I was wondering what the female Romulan said. How do you profile an American? Well, she says, how do you profile an American? He's a civil defense lawyer, responsible for... I can't remember the exact dialogue. But we'll do that in our complete breakdown tomorrow. We're going to play what other show are they in? Adelaide Kane played the Romulan time agent. The actress also plays Dr. Julian Minin in Grey's Anatomy. Oh, I did not know that. Darth Eddie says I could be wrong. An upcoming Trekyards video will go into this, but it looked like the nacelle pylons on the Romulan prey were thicker and wider than the ones seen in the earlier episodes. They absolutely are. Plus, it looks like they have built-in like impulse engines. Hypno Amber. I just don't think people pay attention. I love the show, so I watch it phone down. I watch it the second time with closed captioning on. Closed captioning fucking helps a large amount, guys. Especially for getting people's names right. Like Sarah, her name is not S-A-R-A or S-A-R-A-H. It's I think it's Z-E-R-A or something. It's definitely a different spelling of Sarah. So yeah, sometimes, especially when it comes to alien names or race, like species in Star Trek or planets, it's good to have the closed captioning because it really tells you how to spell it, which is helpful. And if you don't like it and refuse to leave, I will happily throw you out the door. Yep, or I will. I mean, I have no compunction about throwing people out, as somebody might have just noticed tonight. I don't know. Is Subspace Chatter still commenting? No! Holy shit, what a fucking surprise. The temporal agent was rather cold towards La'an. La'an was gone through an emotional shock. I made a joke about that, Eric. I'm like, wow, man, temporal investigations or temporal agents, they don't give a shit about mental health, do they? They should be sending a fucking psychiatrist to talk to her about this shit on a regular basis because she can't talk to anybody in her time about it. But that was pretty fucking traumatizing. Yeah, they need to fucking focus on that shit and send a fucking psychiatrist back every once in a while to check on her. That's what they need to do. Temporal investigations. I don't know what's going on, man, but you need to up your game. Anyone talk about the chess? Cute plot note, but the TOS 3D chess seen on screen is not 8x8x8. I'm resolving it by assuming Kirk has played the 8x3 board as well as the strange one in TOS. Sure. Because I'm Foley's asshole in chief. Wow. Mad Spectre. My theory has always been that First Contact and the Borg incursion led to ripples throughout the Prime timeline, and beginning with Enterprise, that's what we've been seeing. Sure. And that's fine. Just cause varying paths of like delineation, different timelines, different. Like the Disco timeline is not the Prime timeline. The Prime timeline is, quite frankly, TOS, the movies, TNG, DS9, and Voyager. Boom, done. That's the Prime timeline. Anything else is a little bit different. I mean, Lower Decks might slip into the Prime timeline slot. Picard Season 3 is almost there, but not quite. It's adjacent. It's a timeline adjacent. Very similar, but not the same. This is why I don't like time travel episodes. Look how angry you're getting over the simplest little thing. Terrence, shut the fuck up. You like pushing my buttons, Terrence, and I can get angry if I want to get angry. I like ranting occasionally. People like when I rant. I need to do more rant alert videos, by the way, over on the Captain Foley personal channel. But people like when I rant, and I enjoy ranting sometimes. Not always, but yes, I'm frustrated. I get very frustrated. And yes, time travel episodes, alternate reality episodes will do that for sure, but they're also my favorite kind of episodes. Because I understand I have an imaginative mind. I can create scenarios to explain why things are the way they are, instead of just, why is that like that? Well, then fucking think of a reason. I can think of 4 or 5. Come up with something. Again, Terrence, if you don't like it, you know where the door is. Don't get perverted. That's for Drunkyards on Trekyards After Dark. Let's kind of Trekyards After Dark. I mean, honestly. That dude Vince, I think it would help if they'd make the sequel show and not prequels constantly. Yeah, I totally agree with you, man. Totally agree with you. Sturm Von Alk, good night. Gotta go to work. Zachary Gibbons, this I consider a reimagining of TOS, and I like it as a reimagining. I think it's awesome in that sense. Sure. Absolutely. It's a reboot or a reimagining of it. That's fine. Bright Starline, I don't hate to say this, but I actually think that the 60s TOS ship design looks better than the modern design style of Starfleet and the Enterprise. I totally agree with you. Captain Foley is Sarah. Hypnomer says, love you, Cap. I love the discussion here. Sometimes we agree and sometimes not, but it's always a well-intended discussion about the show. It's the best. Thank you, Hypnomer. You understand the tone that I'm going for. Jamie, only thing is the alternate universe, the bridge would be more low level since it's not Federation, but a huge issue for me. Yeah, I talked about that earlier, Jamie. The ship wouldn't look the same either. But Jeff W., I was going to make a joke about, yeah, that's your job to be perverted, but not sure you were in the mood. Oh, I'm in the mood for that kind of shit. Don't worry. Don't be afraid. Oh, I was going to say, don't be afraid to say things based on my mood, but I'm sorry. I usually understand where a lot of jokes are coming from. If I really misunderstand one, I apologize. But the temporal agents were just as cold as Voyager and DS9 too. They were, yeah. Yeah, that was sad. I guess temporal agents are more Vulcan-like. Delilah is here. Hello, Captain. Did they mention about the Kirk still putting in that reverse forward then forward? Yes, I mentioned that. It's very. It could draw. It's a callback to a piece of the action. Hypno Amber. Yeah, so sad that Lon is already closed off, and she finally opened up, and now she can't talk about everything she went through. I cried with her. Yeah, it was a very sad ending for sure. Zachary Gibbons, at least she didn't have to time jump through multiple times, or she would have died of temporal psychosis. General Grievous says there's nothing wrong with having different opinions. Idic. But when it delves into disrespectful put-downs, as my great aunt says, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Indeed. Timeline. There's no time to argue about timeline. I've never heard that joke before, Gastro. Sad when she realized her Kirk was gone. Love the episode and it being in Toronto. Yeah, being in Toronto was awesome. Mark Lawrence, love the little L cars. Definitely 29th century temporalist. Those are called T cars. They're not L cars. They're not library computer access retrieval system. They are temporal computer access retrieval system. They're T cars. Good to see you, Mark. Eric Epperling. So the alternate timeline still exists, or do they flicker out of existence? I think they still exist. I think they still go on. Some might burn out due to an extreme event, but Delilah says, I wish I could afford to stay an officer in the fleet. It just sucks. It's all right, Delilah. Don't worry about it. I know you were gifted a membership. Hopefully you enjoyed the time with that and you saw your name on the fleet videos. But yeah, don't worry about it. Fleet Boss shared my personal channel. Oh, thanks, man. Hit like, guys. We have 100 people watching and 87 likes. I think we can get 13 more likes to get to 100 likes. Ezra says, but I think the episode teaches her she needs to talk because at the beginning she didn't want to talk and then afterwards she wanted to. So learning moment. Oh, absolutely. Alex409 says, I think their visit to Toronto was 10 years into the future. It would explain Khan being older and the bridge being built. That would be true. Yeah. But that's hard to reconcile because she says the events of Khan should have happened in 1992, which they should have, and that she's been there for 30 years. That lines up with 2022. So yeah, they never say what year they're in, but Defiant Mr. Raven Productions favors some maple leaf poutine from Riverside, Iowa, eh? Maple leaf poutine, okay. Zachary Gibbons, time travel allows you to be more freeform, like the relationship Lon and Kirk, and killing Kirk with a gun. Psst, Jim. She didn't bluff. Serge Eloy says they should make a season 24 episode. Oh, they should make the season 24 episodes like they did back in the day. Totally agree with you, Serge. Jeff W., the way they focused on the watch at the end, I wonder if that was a dramatic effect or maybe we haven't seen the end. Both would be my guess. Mad Spectre 47, I absolutely love that she called Jim's bluff. That was such a great subversion of expectations. Absolutely, yeah. He's like, not bluffing, because the alarms went off. I love that, too. Eric Martin says, too bad we don't have Cap's blood pressure on screen behind him, as we could jump clear off the charts sometimes. Ranch alert. That'd be kind of funny and kind of scary, but yeah. That dude Vince says, Sir Eloy, that's pretty much no show that does that anymore, especially with streaming. Oh, with 24 episodes? Yeah. Prodigy was close. They had 20 episodes per season. There's 20 in season 1, and then season 2 is going to have 20 as well. But then it got canceled because fucking Paramount. Hezra says, I like that the Romulan chick said that she had been there for 30 years due to constant changes in time. Gives an explanation as to why dates always change to those who care. For those who care. Yep, 100%. I think they did a good job of handling that. General Grievous, would Pelia remember the timeline right before they stopped the Romulan agent? What I mean is, did the trip just to happen on or not meeting? Don't know. Don't know if she remembers it or not. I would hope that she would, but at the same time, I'm not sure if she would. I didn't know there was big money in chess. We'll go down to the waterfront in Toronto, and you'll be able to make a goddamn fortune if you're really good at chess. The Darth Eddie. The chess scenes were basically this episode's version of Mestral and Teamer rolling the pool players at Carbon Creek to earn the money they needed to survive, and I liked it. See, I buy people winning money with pool tournaments, though, or like playing pool. Not so much with chess. I would not fucking play somebody chess for money. I'm not that confident in my skills. I'm a pretty good chess player, but I'm not that confident in my skills. And yes, I do have 3D chess behind me. And yes, I have played it. And yes, it is more difficult. 2D chess is basically idiot's chess. Am I right? Yeah, I'm not that confident in my skills. Plus, I don't play as much as I should to keep my skills up. So I definitely buy people putting down more money to play a game of pool than a game of goddamn chess. It just doesn't make much sense. But Prodigy was actually good. Oddish, yes, it wasn't actually good. It was fantastic. It was a fucking great show. That dude Vince, I didn't think of that. Nice catch. Loved Carbon Creek. Defiant Mr. Raven Productions says the past screwed up. Take an entire season to fix. No, take that season 2 of Picard. Hell yeah, buddy. This would have been dragged out over fucking 7 or 8 episodes in Picard season 2. But no, they got it all done, succinct in 1 episode, and it's fucking glorious. Hit like, guys. We need another 6 likes to hit 100. I would love to hit 100 likes. This is the way. I'd also appreciate another $30 in super chats if possible, just to kind of edge us in there at a really good number. But if you're not able to, don't worry about it. It's all good. Maybe they fixed that issue being sick after so many time jumps. It was unusual seeing Canadian banknotes instead of American. Are you British? Do you call them banknotes? We call them money. Yeah, it was great seeing those, actually. American money's all ugly. It's all the same. It all looks the fucking same. Canadian money's awesome. Here comes the joke. Monopoly money. First person that says anything about Monopoly money, I want the fucking comment removed, and I want them timed out, Fleetpaw. Oh, your Monopoly money. It's all different colors. Ugh. Yeah, you know what? I can look at my wallet and see I have 200s, 550s, 620s, and 25s. By the fucking color. I don't have to fucking rifle through and look at the numbers. Canadian money is superior. The hotel room made me laugh. For Toronto, say goodbye to 500 or more. Should have been a days in, but I needed a bridge view. Yeah. Hotels.com, Eric. They got an excellent last minute deal. I hit like at 69. God, I want to try poutine. Poutine's fucking great, man. One more light to get to 100. Mad Spectre says I actually should have been poker. Jim was making money. That would have been a really cool callback. It's a Cobra Knight maneuver. Poker, not chess. Yeah. Or he could have been playing Fizbin. He should have been playing people Fizbin for money, man. Fizbin. But I don't know if they came in on a Tuesday or a Thursday. It wasn't at night, so I don't know if he would have had the advantage. But he should have been playing Fizbin. Runtime 101 minutes for the win. Yes, that was awesome. Ooh, 100 likes. Let's double them. We're not going to double them, Donnie. BJ says, Lon recognized Toronto pretty fast. Must have been there before, as young Dundas Square is not recognizable as Toronto City Hall or CN Tower. Except the fucking sign says, Toronto Eaton Center. She even points to it. She's just not stupid. She's security. She's observational. She pays attention to what's going on. Hey, speaking of time travel, who's ready for the bow rides in San Francisco next year, right? Just waiting for someone to say Scott Bakula's line. Oh boy, in the next episode, time travel episode. Canadian money is awesome. Collected it since I was a kid. Most countries use color in money. U.S. is oddball. Yep, same with not using metric, but whatever. You Americans want to be unique. Even as an American, I love seeing non-American money on screen for a change. The only real variation we have down here is that the newest $100 bills are more purple in color. Just going to say a Canadian, and seeing that money, they did not have enough money for a hotel. The colors don't lie. I know, he was counting it, and I'm like, that's not a lot of money. Okay, cool, you can buy some food and maybe a motel room. And then I see that hotel room, and then you hear they bribed a border guard, and you're like, fuck off. Who'd they have to mug to get that money? And if anyone can make that joke, it should be us. Well, now you got to give a referral code since you plugged hotels.com. So a bridge to which city? Toronto to, well, it would have been across the lake, to Michigan somewhere. But yeah, definitely interested in seeing our cash on the screen. I think our Canadian money even has Braille. It does. And it's also got like a laser thing. You can point, there's a little dot in it, right? It's clear. And you can use a laser pointer to shine through that and shine on a wall, and it'll have like 555. It's a $5 bill, 100, 100, 100, and like a triangle pattern. We got a lot of counterfeit things. Fleetpaw, there should be, okay. Look up a video. This is what you look up. Trekyards, Canadian, Canada, money, cool feature. And it should come up with a video of mine that is a thumbnail of Canadian bills where I actually use a laser pointer to show one of the features of our bills. It was probably Toronto to Buffalo. There you go. Wow. Was it ever said if La'an was picked by the temporal agent for a reason, or was it random? I think it was for a reason. Because she could use the scanner. She had the tag or whatever in her DNA to be able to gain access, would be my guess. Canadian money is awesome. Go by color, not like the crazy Euro money that goes by size. You have a freaking 100 euro that needs to be folded 5. That would suck, man. Make having a wallet kind of useless. I'm going to bed night. Going to bed night. Good timeline episode. Looking forward to your official review and after rewatch. Next episode, the Enterprise goes to Rigel 4. Eric Epperling, the cold fusion reactor would not be leaking tritium in the streets. That would be a severe radiological hazard. Nice LCARs of the new crossfield. Thank you. BJ says, good point about Lalan's powers of observation, but in my disco verse, I prefer to think that she has been there and enjoyed. Well, she very likely has. Combination of both. Springtime says more likely that she saw a few signs that said Toronto as it's possible Toronto was destroyed in World War III. Since the Swiss franc was also colorful like Canadian money, I was waiting for them to say cold fusion was a scam, but they let it go. No, Pelia said it. She thought it was fictional, make believe, like Sasquatch and lasers, or Bigfoot and lasers. U.S. has a blue 100, a reddish 50, and a yellow 10, and a purplish 5. Okay. Well, remember, Kirk is not from Earth, and Earth is post-apocalyptic land, so I think Kirk can be forgiven for not recognizing Toronto. I agree. It is implied La'an was chosen for the connection. I think it was a last-minute choice, but a good choice. Agreed. They drove to New Hampshire. Cool. You fools, Captain Kirk is a Priceline negotiator. He got a great price on it. It's all for cheap. Never thought about that, but that's hilarious. Oh, Star Trek. You're my favorite commenter tonight. BJ says, a bridge across the lake from Toronto ends in Niagara in the Lake Ontario, or if it goes to New York State, then Fort Niagara. Sure. Me no other, and they were in a taxi from Toronto to New Hampshire. Well, they went to Vermont, first of all, and the taxi said Vermont taxi. So, and if you listen to the launch, she says you had to bribe a border guard, take 4 buses and 2 cabs or something to get there. So yeah, no, it wasn't a taxi from Toronto to New Hampshire. Pay attention to the fucking screen. It's a blue taxi that says Vermont taxi on the door. Anyway, Canadian money is cool. There it is. Fleet Paw shared the link. Check that guy out after the live, guys. Hypnower says, I have a slight disability and U.S. money sucks. It's not accessible at all. Vintage Computer Custodian says, Australian notes are colorful too, and they have Braille. Yeah, every other country's money is awesome. America's is just boring. The only change that's planned for Canadian bills is that they're adding King Charles to the note, but I think the prime ministers will remain on their notes. Considering it has China, I don't care about the money anymore. Oh my God, Khan is from Toronto. Oh, well, I knew that place is evil. He's not from Toronto. He's just currently staying in Toronto because that's where the organization, or the Noonien Singh institution that like has a site there, has him stored there currently. He's not from Toronto. That's going to get fucking old real quick. It already has. Oh, Khan's Canadian. It's not. He's not, though. He's just hanging out in Canada right now. It's a layover spot, or by the end of the episode, they should have gotten a private jet. With the money that they won at chess, sure. I saw Vermont taxi on the door. It was an interesting cab. Since the U.S. Civil War, our paper money has been green, hence the name greenbacks for dollar bills. We cannot change due to Romulan political interference. It explains a lot about our country. Explains more than you know about your country. That and you refusing to adapt the metric system tells the rest of the world more than you guys want to be telling the rest of the world, in my opinion. But hey. Verpine throws in $5. Have some of my boring money. Thank you, Verpine. It looks very nice. Even the super chats are all different colors. Green for $5. Green for $5. $20 is orange. $2 is blue, or light blue. $1 ones are blue. $10 ones are yellow. Even super chats have it right. This episode was set before or after the boat rides. Don't know. They never really clarified when it was. Ooh, Eric Martin made a bad. Eric. No pushing buttons like that. Shame on you. I'm actually kind of disappointed in you for doing that. Oh well. Looks like an old police crew converted in taxi. They usually are. What's metric, BJ? You just that says it all as well about the U.S. Khan is not Canadian. We know this because he didn't offer Kirk a cup of tea of Tim Hortons when he took over the Enterprise and Space Seed. Right. You're absolutely right. Sean T throws in $2. Test. See? Light blue. Light blue for a $2. Where's BJ Tehran's $1 ones? Because they're a dark blue. There's $20 super chats. They're orange. Oh, it doesn't go back that far. Regardless, the super chats even have different colors. Maybe if Metric had gravy like poutine, you would adopt it. Sure. I once visited Japan. I guess I'm Japanese now. Yeah, exactly. Right? War God 6. I probably missed it, but why would Khan's DNA open the door if it was supposed to be genetically enhanced? He wouldn't be free to roam around the halls when he was less in the room, so he could be a clone. It's a good question. It was a genetic marker on her DNA, but yeah, you wouldn't want the kids opening the door and getting out necessarily. So that's a good point. Good question. Don't know. Would have been cool if the Romulan was just crazy and from the 21st century just saying the sheep and red herring. Captain Foley, that is the biggest tablet I have seen. What is the screen size? This is a 12.9-inch iPad. And there, look, see? There's the dark, see, BJ? There's a dark blue, and there's the $2 light blue. So there's the super chat differences. So it's a 12.9-inch iPad. 12.9-inch screen. It speaks a lot that Americans and a few dictatorships don't use metric. Metric makes sense. Go by tens, hundreds, thousands, etc. Not, yeah, I know. The whole can't kill Khan thing got me thinking about what if you got to go back in time and kill Hitler as a baby scenario? That's exactly what I thought at this one as well. Yeah, Jeff, this is an iPad Pro. Oh my God, 12.9-inch iPad Pro. Yes. General Grievous, 12.9 inches. Oh my. Well, there you go. I'm done talking about this episode now. I'm done. I'm gonna call it. Done. We're done. We're done here. I'd like to thank everybody for watching, everybody that showed up, everybody that super chatted, everybody that got kicked out because they were assholes. I appreciate all you guys in some form or another. So thank you all for joining me. Please join us tomorrow. Our edited review will be out probably midday, 12 p.m. EST, or join us at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time where we talk about this episode in depth, in detail, breaking things down, getting to the heart of the matter, the root of the problem. Not a problem. Complete breakdown and review tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please join us for that. It's going to be a lot to talk about. Should be a fun one, and hopefully we'll see you guys there. So until then, I'm Captain Foley. Have yourselves a good night, everybody. Canada, eh? It's about time.